Greenwheels is a bike shop with a strong standing in both the local and online communities. As part of its digital transformation, Greenwheels has been using the latest technology from IBM to better understand their customers' needs, to reinvent how they engage with their customers across multiple channels, and to expand their reach by leveraging the API economy. Let's take a closer look at how Greenwheels is doing this through the personas of Paul, a marketing manager at Greenwheels, Frank, a developer at Greenwheels, and Katie, a customer of Greenwheels. Let's begin by looking over the shoulders of Paul. Now, Paul begins his day by logging in to the Commerce Insights workspace, which allows him to gain a deeper understanding of the products and categories within the storefront. And Paul sees that some of the bikes are actually underperforming. Now, in order to get a better understanding, he's going to navigate to the Casual Riders workspace, which he has previously configured. And this workspace gives him a roll-up of some of the road bikes and apparels from Casual Rider. He also sees a set of products that are the best performers, but quite frankly is interested in what's not performing. And he can quickly do this by just simply changing the view. Now looking at some of the initial data, Paul's first suspect is around inventory, and in context can quickly check the inventory, but sees that the numbers don't show anything of much concern. Now at this point, Paul can choose to perform additional investigations, such as previewing how the product might look within the storefront. Maybe these products need to be raised up higher on the page, and can even choose to watch a product to pin it to this dashboard so he can keep a closer eye on it. But Paul is actually going to want to perform some deeper analysis, and to do this, he's going to leverage the capabilities of IBM Watson Analytics. So from the workspace, he can directly access Watson Analytics. Now, Watson can consume data from multiple sources, including the Greenwheels sales data that Paul was just looking at. To interact with Watson, Paul can simply ask a question. How is my revenue being affected each year by my suppliers? Now, Watson will analyze the question and provide what it believes are relevant explorations or visualizations. And these visualizations will allow Paul to easily form opinions so that appropriate actions can be taken. Now, Paul selects the first exploration, and what he sees here is that the supplier, Swift, is actually been contributing and helping the revenue, whereas the other suppliers have actually not been helping. They're actually decreasing in regards to the revenue. Taking a look at an additional visualization, Paul chooses the breakdown in the number of models in this case. And what he sees is that the Swift supplier has actually been increasing the number of models over the years, whereas the others have actually been decreasing. Less models mean less options, and apparently customers like to have some options. Now, one last visualization that Paul is going to take a look at is around tour events. Now, tour events is a promotional event that Greenwheel uses to build a strong relationship with their customers and effectively allows customers to come in and participate in bike tours where they can try out the bikes or bring their own bikes. And this personal interaction typically helps, and as Paul can see from the graph, helps lead towards a purchase decision and increased revenue. So at this point, Paul has been able to collect some data, make some analysis, and form opinions or decisions. He's going to work with his team to work on getting some additional models from the suppliers, and he's going to leverage the success of the tour events. And in order to do this, he's going to leverage multiple channels. Now, Paul doesn't have to necessarily work by himself. Paul is going to leverage the capabilities of the Journey Designer from the Marketing Cloud. And from this storyboard, Paul can choose to collaborate with other members on ideas and actions. He can plan and work with a number of different online and offline interactions. And it looks like one is missing from the storyboard, so Paul is simply going to select it, in this case the landing page, and just drop it onto the storyboard. Now we can see that the landing page, the email and mobile push are there, and Paul has the time, is going to work on implementing these three interactions. So he's going to take a look at the landing page first, and the landing page interaction would need to consist of updating the site landing page with some of the new bike models to add some exposure. He's going to create an email template or outbound email to drive some awareness to users about the bike tours and new models. And lastly, he's going to also drive some awareness through mobile push. So keep an eye on those three interactions. And to implement an interaction, Paul simply just needs to actually click on an interaction and to choose open. Now, clicking on open takes Paul to the site or the application where the interaction can be implemented. In this case, the digital experience platform. Choosing to go into an edit mode provides Paul with the ability to manage the site in context and obtain a real-time in-context preview. He can also leverage the full capabilities of the new Site Manager, which gives Paul the ability to manage not just the pages, navigation, and content, but also to copy entire pages or sections of a site as needed. In addition to the Site Manager, Paul is also able to leverage a number of different page components and applications, such as BPM components and newly released WebSphere Commerce digital data components, which includes everything from browsing product catalogs to searching to the checkout process. And these components can be further extended to additional customizations that might be needed. Now Paul sees one that he likes, the Get the Gear, and can simply just drag and drop it onto the page. Now once it's on the page, the component begins to work right away, but Paul chooses to browse the product catalog and select the set of bike models he would like to show on the landing page. And that's it. With just those few clicks, Paul has actually updated the landing page, the first interaction, to include some of the new bike models. Now, it's also worthwhile to point out that the digital experience platform allows Paul to complement or augment some of the product details with additional descriptions or marketing taglines, surrounding the product details with information to enhance or enrich the experience for the end user. Now, Paul is going to take a look at that later on in his day, but for now, wants to focus on completing the second interaction, which is the email. Paul can still leverage the digital experience platform to work on the email templates and chooses to browse a number of different templates with which his team has actually been working on that we see here. Now Paul notices it looks like one is already close to being complete, almost done. Try a new bike model on a bike tour. He takes a closer look at it and is happy with what he sees. And it's important to remember that Paul has the full inline editing and digital asset management capabilities that's provided to him by the digital experience platform. Now, once Paul is happy with this email template, he can choose to deploy it for delivery through the IBM Marketing Cloud. And once deployed for delivery through the IBM Marketing Cloud, Paul can choose to click on it to complete the process. From here, Paul can choose to perform additional testing, such as testing against different user segments to test the personalization within the emails. But in this case, Paul is going to move forward and complete the send process. He can also select the segments of users which will receive the email. One example would be choosing a set of site visitors that might have recently visited the Green Wheels page to draw them back to see the latest bike models. A quick mailing health check is performed, and Paul can start to complete the process. And that's it. Now, once Paul is ready to send the email, the second interaction point is done. And he's ready to go ahead and work on the third and last interaction point. And that has to do with the mobile push. More specifically, it has to do with creating mobile content for the mobile applications. Now, in the past, creating content for these mobile applications was a challenge for Paul and his team because such content was typically hard-coded within the mobile app or managed by the developer. But due to the IBM Digital Experience Mobile Application Content Manager capabilities, Paul and his team can manage this content without IT help. Paul begins by joining a project that his team has already been working on. He sees that there's this persuasive content around family bike tours, and all it needs is the ability to add an image. Fortunately, Paul is able to browse the digital asset management repository, where images are organized by folders and keywords and automatically indexed by color. Paul can browse, and in this case, will select the Green Wheels folder. He's able to narrow it down based off of the kids keyword and finds an image that would fit this piece of content. Also note that the digital asset management repository generates multiple renditions, thereby delivering the right size image to the right size device, whether it's smartphones or tablets. Now Paul is happy with the image. He goes ahead and saves it. Mobile Application Content Manager provides a full workflow for approval and review. But since Paul is the manager, he's going to decide to go ahead and publish this content item for use. Now at this point, Paul's been doing a lot of work. He's analyzed how the users are using the site and has implemented 3 interactions. Now let's switch gears and take a look at what Frank, a developer, has been doing. Now Greenwheels knows that leveraging the API economy allows them to build new partnerships and to monetize their services and products. To address this, Frank has been using the capabilities of StrongLoop, which was recently acquired by IBM, brings Node.js to the enterprise, and allows for the rapid creation of interfaces to connect data to mobile applications, IoT, and web applications. Frank is working on a data model, the Tor events, and we see here is simply adding a new property for searching by zip code. And after saving this data model, Frank is going to allow users to find Tor events in a specific zip code. Now, defining the data model is just one part of the process. Being able to deliver the data model in a catalog in a way that's secure, scalable, and manageable is also important. And such capabilities is provided by the IBM API management. Here we see Frank and his team has created a plan for the Green Wheels partners by which they can leverage a number of different services for accessing Tor event information. In addition to accessing and searching for Tor events, the API management capabilities also allows for rate limits to be set. Lastly, analysis or analytics can be done. So the team, including Paul's marketing team, can see how these interfaces are being used and activity for some of Greenwheel's partners. Now lastly, let's take a look at how the work that Paul's been working on in creating the mobile content and work that Frank's been working on in making some of the services such as the tour events available to partners can come together and be used by partners and customers. In this case, Katie, a customer, is going to be interacting with some of those Greenwheel services. Now Katie is going to be using a mobile application. She chooses to start a Greenwell Bank mobile app. And the first question one might ask is, if we were talking about green wheels, why is a Greenwell Bank mobile app appearing? Well, remember, Green Wheels has been working to expand their reach to additional partners. Greenwell Bank is one of those partners. Greenwell Bank is also interested in providing customers with services that would match their personal interests. This allows the bank to create even more engaging and personal relationship with the customers beyond just your traditional balance and account information. Now Katie is going to start to use this mobile app, and as she uses the mobile app, she sees a notification appear. A Greenwheels bike tour. It's actually a Greenwheels tour is occurring in her area, and they actually have some equipment for the kids. Now Katie is very interested in this and chooses to click through. And notice what happens. She actually starts to see this persuasive content that Paul had previously created. Now it's important to point out that this is more than just a simple notification. What happened behind the scenes is Decision Server Insights was looking for event patterns over the course of a specific period of time. For example, Katie has been making some purchases in the past few days for outdoor equipment. In addition, Katie is currently using a mobile application in the same zip code where a Greenwheels bike tour event is occurring. Now this event pattern is seen by the Decision Server Insights, which will then orchestrate the delivery of this persuasive content to Katie via the IBM Marketing Cloud. Now Katie is going to go ahead and sign up for this family bike tour. She decides that she is also interested in getting the kids' bike, available at a discounted price, and completes her purchase. Now, Katie, fast forward in time, in the next few days, will participate in this bike tour with her kid, and she will end up doing what most of us have been doing, and that's to share her experiences. Katie ends up making a tweet on Twitter that basically says, "Enjoyed the Greenwheels bike tour, but wish my kid would have had a bell like all the other kids." Now, fortunately for Katie, Greenwheels has been leveraging some of the services for IBM Bluemix to monitor some of the social feedback around Greenwheels and the bike tours. One of those services includes the ability to capture tweets from Twitter. Another service is the ability to pass that through a Watson sentiment analysis. And those that might be of negative or neutral in nature can then cause a specific case to be opened. What's important here is how the agents are able to work on this task or this case. Here we see the agent dashboard that's provided by the IBM Digital Experience Platform. A list of tasks including Katie's is displayed. The agent selects Katie and is presented with everything that that agent needs to know about Katie to make a proper decision on how to address the case. This includes information, demographic information, and data coming from a CRM. the tweets Katie might have made to cause the case to occur, and even past orders. The agent can also see the current level or ranking of Katie, as well as a select number of promotional items that can be extended to Katie as well. Now, the fact that the customer server level is VIP and the fact that these promotional items are appearing is not by chance. There is an operational decision management business rules process running. These rules are defined by the business or analyst and can be used to provide the agent with information as to the type of level the customer is in, and again, the types of promotions that can be extended to her. And oh, look, it looks like one of those happens to be that bike bell. So the agent selects it and decides to have it automatically sent to Katie. Now, won't she be surprised when she receives that in the mail? Creating that moment of serendipity for the customer. Now, that's the conclusion of the demo. Through this Green Wheels transformation, we saw Paul was able to design a customer experience based on insightful data. We saw Frank was able to promote an ecosystem of Green Wheels partners via the API economy. And we saw Katie was able to interact with Green Wheels through multiple channels. Thank you.